Happy Sunday to you guys. So, I am here with a message. Okay. Before I get started, I need to do a quick sound check, make sure everything is good on my side. Okay. All right. So, we are good and ready to get started. All right. So, this message is going to be, I'm just giving y'all a heads up. It's going to be kind of heavy, okay? I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's gonna be one of them ones. So just giving you guys a heads up um that this message is not going to be lightweight at all. Okay. Um I am gonna do some just kind of just a download that came to me, and I'm also going to uh pull on this, okay? Make sure y'all can see all the cards. Yeah. Also going to pull on this subject, on this topic, but I want to start, hold on. I want to start with just kind of what inspired this message to come to me. It was probably like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and just randomly just this title just came to me in the middle of the night, and I felt guided to write it out, type it out, and expand upon that message. It's very clear. Okay. I heard this title, the title that you see of this video was what came to me and is verbatim what I typed, and that was it. Um, so this title of this message, okay, this transmission, this channeled guidance and information, and a little bit of experience. I'll probably share a little bit of my experience with this subject. Um, And like I said, we'll pull on it. But I do want to start off with this introduction. So this message is rather it is for the men who pretend that they love women or the divine feminine, but truly fear or resent them. Okay. Um, for the warlocks, that cloak themselves in a nice package, right? Um, the spiritual narcissist that come cloaked as healers or as teachers, these men, unfortunately, um, any shadow so-called twin flames and all of that, they're really just counterfeit psychic hijackers, karmic energies, karmic charmers, them. And for every woman or divine feminine who's ever been touched by this energy, drained by it, or broken by one of these men, um, this is for you as well. Okay. So, yeah. So, this isn't me dragging. Okay. This is not a drag. This is not gossip. This is not tea or anything like that. This is a prophetic reckoning. Like, this came to me, like, the title itself came to me before I even expanded upon this message. So, if you feel that heat, if it triggers you, it's probably because the fire is already lit under your feet. Like it's already something that you probably are feeling convicted about that you're doing to women. So we are in a Mercury retrograde in Leo right now. Okay. And therefore everything right now, any fake energy, performative energy, pride-based energy is getting exposed right now under the divine light. It is. So, especially any false masculine energies. Hey, sis. Hey, Carol. Hey, Juanita. Happy Sunday. So I come here today with a word for a very specific archetype. Greetings. Um, Greetings, everybody. Happy early birthday to you, Juanita. So, this specific archetype is what I call God's gift to women type of archetype. Y'all have heard that saying before. It's an old saying. Um, so this God's gift to women, man, the one who shows up with, the smile, and they might wear the crystal necklaces and the ankhs and the Buddhas, they just dressed up in spirituality, right? Or they have these fancy titles. I'm a this and I'm a that, I'm under the brotherhood of this and that, those types as well. Um, or they just come in some sort of fancy title, or just they could be, oh yeah, I'm a CEO of this, and I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, I'm a um an engineer, whatever, um they wish they were. Exactly, they're not. They're the rather than a gift, they a curse, for real. So they use a love language that they hear on, TikTok, whatever's trending, whatever they know women are into. They watching the tarot readings. They just the same shit that you be watching and stuff. They watching not because they trying to get guidance or anything to help them out, but how can I exploit women, basically. So these are the ones who say they worship the divine feminine, but they use her energy. They siphon it like it's a drug, like it's just something that they can for their own taking. You know what I mean? So this isn't about demonizing men specifically. It's about naming what's been hiding behind false divinity. Okay. It's about those men who wear the language of healing and all of that, but they actually carry hatred of the divine feminine and their power, the divine feminine's power, her gifts, her purpose, her callings in their bones. They can't stand that. Okay, so they seduce the priestesses. They leave them with spiritual wounds. Okay. Um, Also, as well, the ones that come to steal through your womb energy, and by using what they call sexual chemistry and energy and connection and soul divinity and all that dumb shit. The ones who claim that they are that divine masculine, but they refuse to face their own true self. That's what this is for. Okay. Exploit, yes. Exploiters. So this message is not from the ego. I'm not here to, this is not a tear men down message. It is to expose a particular type of archetype of a man. So if you fall under that and this triggers you, then that's something you need to deal with yourself. Okay. Um, so this is, if this is not from a place of, like, again, ego and tearing other people down. So this is for the women and the spirits of the women that came before us, our mothers, our aunties, those of the community, you know. And like I said in the title, Mama sent me. I heard that I had to type everything that I heard exactly. So this message, we're not gonna play around with it. Okay. So I'm gonna do my best and diligence to tap into this so that somebody gets free. Okay. So I want to timestamp this too so I don't forget. I'm going to timestamp this. Okay. Mm, all right. So let's get into it, y'all. So first thing I want to talk about is we're going to highlight this. Um, like I said, this retrograde, Mercury retrograde is in Leo. It's pulling the curtain back on the performing energy, the pretenders, people pretending to be the protectors of women, and the charmers pretending to be chosen and things like that. Like, you know, the ego, they wear spirituality as a costume for more so attention and for ego trip of power, and not for real transformation or healing. None of that, right? um these warlock energies that love bomb as a form of manipulation. They mirror your essence, your energy, just to bypass you, like to pretend or project that there's a real connection, you know. um coming to take and steal your softness, steal your joy, to validate their brokenness, where they find that power in you being broken. So these types of masculine energies, they don't love women. They love how women make them feel, how women make them look, the validation that they get from your energy. Um, and that in itself is not divine love. It's consumption. It's not even respect of your essence of who you are. Okay. Um, some of these men are not just emotionally immature, they're also spiritual infiltrators. So there is a group of them that do this out of wounding alone, and there's some that know what they're doing intentionally and purposely, um, that are wolves in sheep's clothing for sure. Okay. So I'm speaking to the women watching that may have been hurt or confused or discarded by men like this, or may currently be going through this as of now, because I feel like as spiritual women, we've all been through something like this for sure. Um, and like I said earlier, I don't mind sharing a little bit of my experience with this. Um, but yeah, so this is just, here for those that come here for the truth, right? Even if it hurts on both ends, the ones that have been hurt and abused, or realize and come to realize that they have been um manipulated by masculine energy like this before, or currently is being manipulated by masculine energy such as this, or to the masculine energies that are doing this. So you repent from that. And when I mean repentance, not like the biblical repentance, but just simply the word itself, to turn away from something and no longer do it. You know what I'm saying? Like simple word, period. Um, so yeah, I'm not here to speak and coddle people, because I know this message is going to trigger. I mean, it's a given. It's going to. That's just what it is. So people that say they come for the light, but they can't handle the shadow of things, they can't handle the truth. They claim to be students and want to learn and want to be taught things, but they don't allow themselves to have an open and listening ear to receive, because clarity brings about an exposure of illusion. And that's not always something easy to digest. Okay. So why this justice is coming upon these types of men? Like right now, we're in a energy or period or timeline right now where falseness is crumbling, false sense of authority. And I prophesied this probably 5 or 4 years ago, that people in seats of authority that are not supposed to be there and are not doing the right thing with their level of power and authority were going to be dethroned. I said that, and it's going to continue to happen. It might be a small wave at first, or a kind of a low pyramid scheme level. It starts at the bottom of the pyramid on up, so it might take time to get there, and that women were going to tap back into their birthright, the essence of who they were called to be, that was going to take place. Women and young girls tapping into this. Because at this time right now, the falseness of patriarch, like those false structures, patriarchal structures that have been nothing but destructive to our world, to not just the world, but to the planet, to the universal law. Like things need to be corrected. It's just what it is. So this is a divine law. Like what you reap, you're going to sow. That's natural, whether you believe that you deserve karma or not. Like if it goes against divine laws and of the universal laws, it's going to return back. We're none of us are exempt from that. So spiritual seduction has a price, okay? For sure. Pretending to walk in divine masculinity while you're going around wounding the feminine it's unethical, spiritually unethical. It's karmically dangerous for you. Um, in so many ways. It is a deep, strong spiritual offense for real. So ancestral justice is real. Okay. You are not just offending the women on this planet, but you're also offending the mothers that came before. You're also defending the real, true divine masculine energy as well, because it's also when people get hurt and wounded by specific things, like let's say someone gets bit by a cat or scratched by a cat, and they never trust cats ever again. So every cat you come across, they're automatically just bad and you don't trust them, or you don't like dogs because one dog scratched you or bit you or whatever, right? So every dog in the universe, even if it's the cutest, sweetest puppy dog or a loving animal, you won't trust it because of that one. So it's like that one person can ruin it for other people, or ruin the it's almost like it's an agenda too. It's an attack as well on togetherness and community, because the enemy manifests itself in so many different forms. And the enemy, as they say in the Bible, right? We're just going to quote this because it's real shit, like not on a religious shit, but just real. The devil or the enemy, whatever is of darkness, comes to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what it does. To cause division, cause separation, to cause isolation. So fake false connections. Oh, I'll never love again because this one person, or I can't trust, I can't trust in the leadership of man because of this one man that wasn't really a leader, just projected to be a leader. You know what I mean? So women, like, we don't have to retaliate. There's nothing that you need to do to or against anybody, because the veil is already lifting and the tables are already turning. So you don't got to lift a finger. You don't got to do shit. You don't have to do anything. Um, this message is really meant to be a mirror and a protection spell for those who need it too. So I'm gonna revert back to the title where I said to specifically to the God's gift to women type of man. Mama sent me to deliver this message. What I mean by that, divine mother energy. Your time is coming. Okay. So this message, I hope, carries the breath of every woman who ever cried in silence, whoever felt broken, went through some type of mental psychosis or breakdown because of this type of energy. Because I'm going to share my story soon, I promise y'all. But this is a warning, okay? And it's not going to um, fit your level of comfort. It's not supposed to, okay? So I do invite the men, okay, those masculine energies, to repent or reclaim their integrity by start telling the truth to themselves, and maybe even to the women that they've harmed. Okay. So y'all been warned. Okay. You were loved up on, you were adored, you were taken care of, you were trusted, but now you're being tested and you're seen. And now whatever you put out is being mirrored back to you for your reflection. Okay. So let's get into the archetype of these motherfuckers. Because that's where we need to get. Where's where we need to go? Where's my timestamp? Dang, we already at 18 minutes. Okay. No rush though, no rush. So this archetype is really an inflated ego or wounded driven person for the most part. So in the shadow, these archetypes, they come in as serial flirters. They flirt with everybody. They're charming, right? They're also emotionally manipulative as well. They play on the heartstrings of women. They are also addicted to the admiration that women give them, or just in general that people give them. They like attention. They like compliments. Um, they also are addicted to conquest too. Um, Certain types of women are easy targets than some. The ones that seem to be not as easily accessible is like that challenge. They get more of a thrill, more of an ego feed when they can attract or get the attention of women otherwise that they couldn't naturally attract, maybe before they started wearing the false mask and the fancy titles, things like that. So spiritually, they're really disconnected. They are not really spiritually that in tune with themselves, nor do they probably don't even have a real relationship with source. Um, or they just use their charm as a weapon. Like, they may know how to spiritually manipulate. They know that much. They may use spiritual tools, spiritual means, modalities, spiritual knowledge to manipulate. So they are avoidant of deep connection. Any time that you think when you're dealing with this type of counterfeit energy, you think that you guys are having a genuine connection. It's never genuine. It's never real because this person lacks the emotional capacity to connect with you or connect with themselves. They don't have that. They're emotionally avoidant for a reason, especially if this is someone that deals with heavy trauma or has dealt with heavy trauma or PTSD. That emotional energy is kind of, it's not a safe space for them. It doesn't feel safe to love again or to put faith and trust back into something again because it triggers the trauma. If I lose it or something happens, so to think that you're having a real connection with them is, it's a projection. It's not real. Okay. Um, they also project the delusion of devotion while they really hide their true intention. So they'll project like, we're soulmates, we're twin flames, or you're my husband, you my wife, God sent me, or the ancestors, the universe sent me, and this and that. They know how to use certain lingos, twin flames, star-crossed lovers, past life connection, um, divine counselor and all this shit and past life. Like they know how to use these terms and these phenomenons to pull on your heartstrings. So what they're really seeking is power over you. They seek power over women, not power with a woman. They don't know how to stand in sovereignty alongside with a woman. They have to be the dominant one. They find power in dominating other people in general, not just women, but specifically women. Yes. They also feed on being desired by women, but they actually avoid being truly seen or known with it. Like a person can never truly know who they are. They don't allow you into their inner truth of their core. Everything is a performance. Everything is a act for them. You know what I mean? Or everything is carefully curated to where you don't really get to see the truth of who they are until their mask slips, because people can't pretend for too long though. They can't do that. So they may unconsciously use women as mirrors to validate their self-worth, but oftentimes they do this consciously and purposely. So while they're secretly fearing their own emotional power, they find validation through using yours and exploiting it, I should say. So how these archetypes affect women, how this energy seeps in, it usually comes through a magnetic pull. These are people, like I said, they are charmers. They will telepathically speak you out your drawers. They ain't got to say a word. Their energy is they know how to use it. In other words, they know how to manipulate you into like giving in to them, or like, I got to know who this person is. I got to, you know what I mean? And again, it's because they studied women, and specifically if they're in spiritual spaces and stuff like that, they study spiritual women and what they're into, what they're learning, what their topics of discussion are, things like that. So you'll feel this magnetic pull towards them, and they know how to make you feel seen and wanted and make you feel lit up. They might call you goddess and queen and something to flatter you. And I say this with all due respect, because if you don't, because compliments aren't bad, but you can tell when someone's complimenting you in a way that is disingenuous. Just like you can catch shade when a person is backhandedly complimenting you, you should be able to catch when a man is just trying to flatter you and not being truly authentic in their compliment towards you. So if you don't have the best self-esteem, that will sound like everything, like they're validating you. Okay. So this danger of illusion really too also is like when women, like sometimes what we'll do is we'll project our depth on this person. So you can project the depth onto this charming energy, this person. It makes them more grand in your eyes because you're putting your energy into it. Or your ideal of a mate, you're glamorizing it. So this person reflects back to you what you desire, what you want, you know. Um, and your wounds around wanting to be chosen, wanting to be worthy, wanting to um be seen by somebody for once, or a man, like, finally a man gets it, finally he understands me. And one thing that I feel like a lot of us as spiritually women, like spiritually in tune women or divine feminine energies, is that your gift sometimes is a taboo to people around you, to where it's either you've been taught that it was wrong, it's demonic, it goes against God, or you're inherently evil for doing this, or what you're practicing, whatever the pushback of that is, or the uncomfortability of you feeling like you need to cloak that side of yourself, your faith, your beliefs, or even sometimes the belief that you have in yourself, the confidence you have may intimidate people around you, the friends that you try to connect with. It triggers jealousy in wounded women. It makes wounded men or insecure men feel inferior to you. So it's like I have to cloak all of that. I have to hide that. So when this one charming energy comes in and it's like, oh no, you're powerful, you're a goddess, you're this, and it validates that part that doesn't feel seen sometimes. You got to be careful with that. So when you engage with this type of man, this type of archetype, um, it may reveal where your boundaries, I don't even want to say may, most likely 99% out of the time, it is going to reveal where your boundaries, your standards, and your deeper soul needs lie, right? So how does this God's gift to women archetype select their prey? So these type of masculine energies, they do strategize to target the soft, the spiritual, and the sovereign woman. So I'm not just speaking to, because I mean, if you're here, technically you're spiritual, and I don't mean by labels and by, oh, because I watch tarot readings, or because I know about astrology, or because I've gotten spiritual cleanses, or I listen to sound baths and shit like that, I read law of attraction books. That's not necessarily spiritual. It is a category of spirituality, but spiritual means to be, in my opinion, is to have some type of connectivity to spirit, how you resonate with spirit, how you express through your spirit, how in a short definition of that, it's not so much based like the tools itself, you make them what they are, or you amplify the energy because it's coming from your soul, it's coming from your spirit. So just as someone can be spiritual doesn't mean that you're necessarily quote unquote a good or bad person. Spirituality is subjective, in my opinion. You can utilize your spirituality, your connectivity to spirit or spirits, in a demonic way or in a benevolent way. Malevolent or benevolent. So they'll target the soft, the spiritual, the sovereign woman, the woman that is self-assured, most of that, again, that challenge, like most likely, I can't have her, but if I can, conquest, like a conquest, if I can get that, if I can get with that, if I can take this person's identity from them, destiny swap with her. We think it's just like hateful women that just want to destiny swap with you. No, most of the time it's men, your lovers. They come in the guise of lovers. Okay, so this isn't to scare anybody. I doubt any of you are scared. I feel like y'all know what's up, but it's more so to awaken. So these men, whether they're wounded or they're warlocks, they often move with predatory, charming energy, disguised as their interest in you. Oh, it's alignment, it's destined, or even this, and through their spirituality or spiritual community. Okay. So here's how they select their prey. So number one, they sense your radiance before you do. Every person, I guarantee you, if you look back at every person that tried to play you, tried to get one over on you, so to speak, um, use you, talk down to you, tear you down, they saw you before you saw yourself. So when it comes to these type of men, they spot your light even if you don't see it. Even if you try to hide it or cloak it, or you feel like you're not good enough or whatever, they see it on you. They know that you're different. They smell it on you. Your softness, your sensuality, or your spiritual power, or your spiritual gifts, your spiritual calling, um, your ability to connect with the divine, or through your ancestors, or through, like, you don't have to read a book how to do it. You have that ability. You don't have to manipulate things to make it work for you. You don't got to pay nobody to make something be, or for you to be connected to anything. You know how to access that on your own. And that magnetizes these type of people to you. But it's not for the mean or the cause of a sacred connection or union. It's for their own energetic consumption and their own um, manipulation. So you'll feel flattered, but then you slowly, or maybe even quickly, you'll start to feel drained by this energy. And that's a number one telltale sign that this person is taking from you. So they'll scan women, women that may be in their transition periods, or when they're very vulnerable, in vulnerable periods of their life, maybe just gotten over somebody, just had a breakup, lost a family member or friend, or something traumatic happens, or they're in that period of trying to find themselves or figure out where they're at in their life. So you could be, like I said, fresh out of these heartbreaks, or breakups, going through grief, going through a spiritual awakening, going through a career change or a path, or just trying to figure out, maybe even going through an ego death yourself. So the time when your guard is down, and maybe your soul is like really wide open, and you're seeking answers, you're seeking something, the universe, come help me, God, something, like, I need clarity, I need understanding. And then this person comes in your life, and they show up as a comforter. um their timing seems perfect. It seems like, oh, this is divine, this is aligned. No, that shit is strategic. It's strategic. Getting off topic real quick, but not quite off topic. um it's a content creator that went, like, her story went like, she was already a big YouTuber, but her story went viral. Can't remember her name. I'm not sure what her nationality is, but she dated this guy, and if I'm not mistaken, she's pregnant by this man now, that she later found out cheated on her. But he when they were talking about their story and how they met, he was studying and watching her before he even approached her, and they bumped into each other at an airport or some shit, or she was on a trip with her friends. So it's almost like he was stalking her, so that it could look like divine alignment when they met each other, but he was already studying her. And this guy, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just being honest. If you look at her energy versus his energy, I mean, like, aesthetic wise as well, she seems like the type that would date the man with money, the good looking guy or whatever in her community. Like, she could have that, that type of man. And then you look at the guy that she ended up with, he looks like a completely straight nerd. Like, somebody, like, being a nerd is not bad, but like a guy that don't got no type of game, don't have no, like, confidence about himself. Like, he's not someone that is sexually appealing, in my opinion. Like, you can see visibly that he has low self-esteem. So to be with her would be like an ego boost to him. But at the same time, it also is this undertone of, I want to humble this type of woman, because I could never have this type of woman, and I feel empowered if I can tear this desirable woman down. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe that dynamic gave. And that's why I feel like women have to be very mindful of men that come in and flatter very easily, because they might have been studying you. They might be like watching your moves, even if it's not online, but maybe like at work, or people in your atmosphere. They know, they want to see what type of person you are. And similar to, I'm gonna read this comment. Nur, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Nur Kareem. They said fake compliments will sound hollow, like there's something off about it. Like, you'll know, like, if you can bypass feeling down at that moment or dealing with low self-esteem at that moment or just like a little moment or period of insecurity and look past the flattery and really filter through it, because not every compliment is positive or comes with pure intention. You can tell, like, from my experience, I could tell when men are being genuine in their compliments towards me. They don't want nothing from me. And you could tell when they're flattering you. Oftentimes, like, they'll compliment you, "Oh, I like what you got on. That dress is really nice on you, or that color looks nice on you." And then they'll go on about their business. There's no, "Oh, you look good. What's up with you, ma? What's like that type of, like, you know what I mean?" And then you'll know that if if you say, "No, I'm not interested," or "I'm taken," some of them will be respectful and some of them, their truth will come out. They weren't really trying to get to know you. You know what I mean? So you got to be mindful of that. They mirror your language, your values, and your light. So they'll pretend to be spiritually aligned. They'll probably use like titles: divine, masculine, king, twin flame, healer, teacher. Um, no offense, but sometimes it's very off-putting when I see people like refer to themselves as like Egyptian gods and stuff like that, and um, Orishas, and you know what I mean? Like that's the it's it to me, that's another sign of performing. Like if you resonate with goddesses and gods and stuff like that, that's one thing. Like I'm not shunning anybody for that, but like all that extra stuff, Heru this and uh Anubis, Osiris this and Shango this, and like that's corny to me. You know what I mean? Like that, it just seems off. You know what I'm saying? Like you need a title to make yourself seem superior, in some kind of way, or I just And then they study you. Like I said, they'll study you. They'll reflect back to what you say, like creating a sense of instant resonance. Like, yeah, yeah, me too. Like I remember I went through my dark night of the soul, and it's performative, and I've been through this before. Like, not to say that some of these people haven't done certain things like this, but just as equally as I can spot like people that just do this or do spiritual things as a means of a trend, or they don't really respect what they're doing, they're not really in tune with what they're doing, and they're kind of just taking it on or playing it by ear or doing it because someone else said this is how they should do it, or they watched something on TikTok and not discerning, not asking themselves, is this something I should be doing? Is this in alignment with me right now? Um, they'll just do it and be like, oh yeah, I took a spiritual bath in India and I got spiritually cleansed and I drunk this tea and it was the most enlightening experience ever. But in every other sense of their life, they're a horrible person. So just because a guy's like, yeah, I got a tarot reading before, yeah, and because not a lot of men get tarot reading, or so we think. So we think. But you don't think the average man or straight man is into tarot readings and stuff like that. You think more of like women watch tarot readings or certain tarot readers. Like there's straight male tarot readers out there, but like when I first got on YouTube, it wasn't really that many. Maybe there was like one that I can recall, and then the others were not. And I was like, okay, I can kind of see why um, a gay man would resonate with this, because they're tapped into their femininity as well. And that part is a spiritual side of self. That intuitive subconscious nature is natural to feminine energy. So I can see why they would resonate, or why some refer as divine feminine energy. I get that. So you don't think that a straight man is going to watch a tarot reading like that. Not really. That's not, you know what I mean? Like that's not something that they would really find entertaining or find something in. While some men, they might get spiritual counseling, but maybe not tarot readings itself, because it's kind of like too woo woo, like, too, in their eyes, maybe Hollywood movie. It's not real. Um, but no, there is something, they'll try to find resonance with you to where you feel like, oh my God, this is a connection. This is not a real intimacy. This is imitation that's happening. It's a mirroring factor that's happening. It's not, y'all not really building any form of intimacy. It's illusion. So they'll use flattery and fantasy to disarm you, to disarm your discernment, to disarm your defense, your protection. So they'll say things like, "Oh, you're different. I've never met nobody like you. You're exactly what I've been trying to call in or manifest, you know. I thought about you before I even met you." That type of stuff. I've always been drawn to goddesses, and I've always wanted a priestess by my side. I need a queen by my side. I need an empress by my side. That type of stuff. Love bombing you and dressing it in this spiritual vocabulary, like those trigger words like, oh, twin flames, oh, soulmates, ooh, life path, ooh, past lives, oh, divine counterparts, divine union, sacred union. Oh my gosh. No. So they'll position themselves as like these teachers, oftentimes too. It's also another thing you have to discern. Um, they'll use like these safe words too, safe alternative words, like I just want to help you heal. Um, let me show you what a real man is, or let me show you what a divine masculine really is. You ain't never had nobody real like that. I don't want nothing from you. I just want to connect with you. I just want to like what's a good example for this? I don't want nothing from you. I just want to um see what this spiritual exchange is, or see what this connection takes us, or something along the lines of that, where it seems like, oh, he's open, he's spiritual, ooh, like he's in tune, like that. Mm-mm. But over time, they'll start to slowly like flip the dynamic into like making you emotionally responsible for their validation through projection, or through punishing you, or through pain, right? um Once they get their feel of you, whether that's physically, what, that intimate the adult intimacy, or when you catch on, or when they just got enough of you, they, for whatever reason, they just got their feel of you and they move on to the next person, and you're left feeling literally maybe empty, or maybe you had a moment where you lost your mind, or you question everything. You're questioning yourself, you're questioning God or the universe, you're questioning, was this all real? And it flips you upside down. They test your boundaries too. They'll test your boundaries in a subtle, soft kind of way, like by pushing your intimacy a little too early. So whether that's emotional intimacy, they want to move too quick with you. They're labeling the connection too soon. Before you even actually form a connection, they're labeling it as something. Um, you can sense the agenda. Like it might, how do I explain this? It's not like blatant what the agenda is. So there was this guy, there was this guy that did like astrology for celebrities, or like on celebrities. And I think I responded to one of their videos, or messaged them or something about a video they did. I can't remember what it was. And they asked me like what was in my chart. And I told them, and it was like, "Oh, you mm." They were it was basically about business and money. They were like, "Oh, your chart is made for this and made for that. We should work together." Fuck that. No. No. Mm-mm. Nope. So certain things you can kind of tell the agenda, what they're going to want you for, what they might use you for, how they might exploit you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not always that blatant. Or, oh, I can't wait to see you. Can I come by? Can I come sit with you? Can I watch TV with you? Or, oh, I just can't wait to see you so bad. Like, are you free right now? And it'll sound like, damn, this dude is really into me. No, he's trying to move in on you in so many other ways in the word. Just like women or men shouldn't be giving out their birth chart information to women or whoever, women shouldn't be doing that with men either. Because some of these people, and I'm a pull, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the cards. I just gotta get this part out of the way. Um, some of them are already a part of spiritual houses and shit. Like, what I mean by that is they already have like spiritual leaders that they, or like organizations that they've been initiated into where they already practice spiritual work, um, voodoo and folk magic and hoodoo, whatever. I don't even want, I'm not demonizing these things, but there's people that use this, um, these arts, these practices, these faiths, just like a man in a Christian church or a Catholic church or a Jehovah Witness organization can use that to harm people and manipulate people. So they're going to try to push this intimacy too soon, emotionally, sexually, spiritually. They might dismiss your hesitation as like, oh, don't be afraid. Like we got this connection, we got this vibe. You know, I'm just here to exchange with you. I'm just here to, I don't look at sex like that. I look at sex as healing. I look at sex as transmutive. I look at sex as power. We can manifest. Like they'll use things to disarm that. And that's how you know that that person does not respect you. Because if they try to, if you have a moral and a boundary point where you say no to something and this is what it is, um, I'm abstinent, I'm celibate, I'm waiting until I'm married to my person or until I feel comfortable or safe enough to trust a person in that way. Well, I thought me and you had a connection. Don't you trust me? Like I feel like we are divine connections. I feel like we are divine counterparts. Something like that. And they might not use that again. Like that might not be everybody's angle. Like the average guy might be like, well, I'm not here to hurt you. Like, I love you. That's the like, and this is old played out game, but some people fall for it still. Where a man says, I love you just to get in your jaws. Like some people, and most of the time it's not because you really believe it. Sometimes I feel like you want to believe it. And it feels good to hear that, you know? Um, they'll encourage you to like open up to them while offering you very little of who they really are. They won't give you shit. You don't know who this person really is, especially if you've never met anybody in their intimate circle, like a mother or father, or some of these motherfuckers is no good either. So when you come around them, they ain't gonna tell you the truth about what's really going on and who you're really dating, who you're really talking to. If you're dealing with a pick-me ass mom that coddled her son, he can do no wrong. He could be sleeping with 10 other women and she sees these 10 other women coming in and out of their life and won't tell neither one of them shit. Oh, that's not my business. Oh, my son, he gonna do what he gonna do. Oh, my son, he just, they just want my man. They want my son. You know, whole time she got a whole emotional incest relationship with her son. She don't really want him to be with nobody else anyway. So it's like, even then, like you have to vet people in this person's life as well, because certain, like as they say, birds of a feather flock together. So if this person is a shiesty person, most likely whoever is in their immediate circle, who they are consistently around, are most likely shiesty people. Okay, so I'm almost done. I promise. I promise. Um, they also thrive on access without accountability too. So like once they gain your trust, they ghost you. Like I was saying earlier, they blame you, they disappear on you in a way of like, or creating emotional distance. They'll start to inch away, stop calling and texting you as much, not making much of a fake effort, I should say, but not making much of an effort. Um, not keeping up with you. Like, you see the patterns, or they seem very short with you, like they don't really want to spend much time or talk to you very long. Like, it's cut very short and very limited to the point where there's nothing left. So once you start gaining a sense of, like, you start to see who they are, like you gain a sense of clarity, that might also be a point where they start to remove themselves from you, because you're starting to see them too clear, and they don't want you to hold them accountable. They don't want you to call them out. So they'll often disappear when the energy starts to get real between the two of you. Like, when you start forming a real emotional attachment to this person, or you want more from this person. Because when you start building emotional intimacy, there's points within that emotional intimacy, or layers, where you'll start to be more vulnerable with your person. That's how a natural emotional intimacy builds. Like with friendships, real friendships are built off vulnerability as well, and that emotional intimacy of sharing of yourselves, not trauma dumping, but sharing of who you are, the layers of yourself. And naturally it'll happen, because you'll start to see, this is what ticks my friend off, this is where her triggers are, this is where my triggers are. And you guys have to work through that, learn each other's love language. Either you respect each other or you don't. Same thing with romantic connections. So this person does not allow that natural emotional um bonding to happen, because they're not ready to be vulnerable. They don't want to be vulnerable. Remember what I said in the beginning, they're emotionally disconnected. Emotional connectivity does not feel safe to them, and to a narcissist, they don't have that capacity. It's like a hollow shell. They can perform and project empathy or connectivity, but they can actually live in that and express that, because there's nothing to give. There's nothing to pour out of or into, really. All they can do is just take from you. It's like a garbage disposal. Let me take and suck whatever out, and then just dispose of it. And I want, just keep feeding me, keep feeding me. But it does nothing, you know? Um, so when the energy gets real between the two of you, they'll possibly ghost and then try to return later when they're looking for another feed again. And that sounds a lot like narcissistic abuse. So that could fall into alignment with that as well. Because I believe, like, to be this type of person, this type of archetype, you have to be a narcissist. Um, they also avoid they also avoid women or feminine energies who cannot be easily impressed. So if you are somebody that is fully embodied, deeply discerning, and you're not moved by their charm or their compliments, they do not pursue you. They will not. And if you used to kind of be in that category that, they would prey upon, if you strengthen your muscle, your discernment, and you've wisened up with your self-worth and your value, you may notice that you don't get approached as much by people. Because a lot of the truth is that there's a great number of men that don't have shit to offer a woman. They just don't. As they say, a good man is hard to find, not in a sense that they don't exist, but it's like they are gems. Just like a good woman, I feel like there are bad women out there. There's bad seeds of women, most definitely, that are not good for anybody. But there's a lot of women that really want love, that do have the capacity to give it. And you have to have patience with yourself, and even getting to a place of comfortability. And this is not probably easy to digest, but hypothetically, if you never meet the love of your life, or that's not the destiny for you, is to be in a relationship, could you be happy with your life as it is and who's in your life? Meaning, like, your family, your friends, people that really genuinely care about you, in a non-romantic relationship. Could you still be happy? Could you still live your life to the fullest? Would you at least even try to do that? Because, like, all you have is yourself anyway. So this isn't a no-brainer, or it shouldn't be, because, like, even in your singleness, you should be enjoying your life. And even when you are in a relationship, you should be grateful for the other connections in your life. And your relationship with yourself should be important still, even in a relationship with someone. So that should never feel like an emptiness, because when your relationship with yourself is the most important, it has to be. So the prey that these type of men go for are the ones that are still seeking validation. They're still seeking to be loved, or they feel like their only means to joy and healing is through another man. That's the ones that's easy to manipulate. Okay. So now we're going to tap into how to spiritually navigate these type of men. Let me get my timestamp. Um so how do you spiritually navigate this type of man, this type of archetype? It's best to ask questions always. You know what I mean? Ask questions to the person and check in with yourself. And even if this person gives you an answer, it is up to you not to take their word for it, but to discern what they're saying. So you can ask, am I being honored, or am I just being entertained by this person? Or am I being respected, or am I being consumed? You got to check for reciprocity. Does this person really genuinely make me feel emotionally safe? Is there a sacred flow, a slowness, not this fast paced, overwhelming, fiery, passionate energy? Or is it steady? Is it a flow to it? If it feels like you're under some type of spell, or you don't understand why you want this person so much, why you like them so much, and it feels consuming, most likely you need to discern if it is something going on with that. Is it really love, or is it lust, or is it somebody like is doing some type of spiritual mind game tricks on you, if not literally doing spell work on you? Because some men are not, they're not above doing that either. Men do it too. If you are this archetype in a feminine form, meaning you're not a man but you're a woman and you're doing this to other people, other women, um, do you desire to really, is it that you really want to be adored or deeply known, but you don't know how to name it? So masculinity, and you could be a straight woman operating this, because I know some women that are like this too, funnily enough, that play this type of game with men. They have a very strong masculine demeanor, and they're very manipulative, very sex driven and hungry. And I feel like that comes from a broken feminine energy that desires to be seen with like their core self, like see me, where I don't have to protect myself or perform. I don't feel safe with being myself, because being myself has got me exploited. So I'm gonna play like I'm a big dog and play men back or whatever. How can you break this pattern if you're still dealing with something like this? Like, how do you break it? Number one, do not dim your light for anybody, especially not for love, or to be chosen or be picked by any person, romantically or not. You must protect your light with discernment. You have to. And that comes from the place of self love, self worth, that I will not let anything or anybody harm me. How dare you think that you can hurt me or harm me? You don't harm yourself through love. If you're doing that, it's because there's a lack of self worth there. You don't love yourself enough to say, I don't deserve to be harmed, or to go through painful experiences or hurt, or people to disrespect me time and time again. Because if you did respect and honor yourself, you'd be like, the hell with these people. You can't respect and love me, like the hell with you. You are not for me. Why would I subjugate myself to that? Slow down on the vulnerability. Do not open up too quick, too soon with anybody. Let time reveal the truth of who you are. As long as you're open and you're discerning with who you connect with, where you find that it's safe to be yourself. And what I mean by that is like you're not performing at all, but you're protecting sacred parts of who you are. You let people learn you on the surface until they're sacred enough to come into your fold, your life, your heart. You know what I mean? And again, don't forget, like, you got to ask questions. You can ask something, if they probably very clever and a wordsmith, but you can ask the question like, what is it about me that you respect or that you find beyond physical attraction or beyond signs and synchronicities or whatever? What is it that you find um, attractive or, something that you respect about me? Or what does divine femininity mean to you beyond just their beauty, their physical attractiveness or beauty? What does that mean to you? Or beyond motherhood or having kids or being by your side, what is it that makes you drawn to femininity or attracted to that? See where they land with that. Do they really respect it? And they might be good and make up some real good shit, but you'll see, like, do they really respect women? Because if they can't respect you, they don't respect women. They don't. So you got to watch how they handle you, watch how they handle other people, other women, how they talk about women. I I said this a few times before, but I find that when men can be respectful, even to a woman that they're not physically attracted to, because they don't want nothing from her, they don't want sex from her, they don't want anything from her, but they could still be respectful towards them. I know that's a real man. They could be a crackhead, they could be a prostitute on the street, they can be not their physical type and still open the door for them. Or if this person was to come up to them on the street and say, I'm hungry, I need a couple of dollars to buy food, they're not gonna be like, get away from me, bitch, if it's something that they can't get out of it. This is a kind person. They have humility, they have integrity about them. If you're just kind to somebody that you're trying to get with, or you're fake kind, you're just being nice to somebody because they look good or because you want something from her, and you slam the door in somebody's face that don't look good to you, I already know you don't respect women. When you can stand back and watch a woman being disrespected by another man and not check him, I know you don't respect women. Where you can pull out your phone and record a woman getting assaulted or two women brawling and not call to break it up or whatever, and get out your phone and record it, or watch another man assault another woman and record it. I know you don't respect women. When you get triggered when a woman, whether you agree with her or not, she could be a sexy red or whatever, a Sukihana, whatever. You may not agree with her lifestyle. We may not agree with her lifestyle. But if something was to ever happen to her, instead of going, oh, that's what she get, and laugh at her, or hear a story of a woman being unalived by a man that she met on a dating site because she went out with a white man, and go, oh, that's what she get. I know you don't respect women. What does she do? I hate that. What does she do? Oh, this pregnant woman was unalived by her ex or something. What did she do? Like, that's crazy to me. I know you don't respect women. Soon as a woman that y'all prop up and like says something against or says something that ruffles your feathers, all of a sudden now she ain't shit, she's trash, she's mid, she ain't all of that, she's unintelligent, cancel her. I know you don't respect women. You not honor the nature of women or femininity, because femininity is not based off of cooking and cleaning and wearing pink and ruffled dresses and high heels and straight hair or whatever, or hair pulled back, or a soft voice. Femininity is multifaceted, just as all women are multifaceted. You cannot put us in one box and say, oh, this woman is like this, and this, if she's this type of woman, or she's this race, if she's this age, if she's this size, she's like this. You cannot do that. It's very limited in thinking. And then right there, I know you're not really spiritually in tune if you label just a group like this and like that. And like, we're not all the same. So you got to see how they also handle your no's when you say no to a thing. Their reaction to your boundary is a revelation to how they really see you and if they respect you. Protect your womb. You have to protect your womb, because you do not want to have a baby by some demonic man, or catch some sort of disease you can't rid yourself of, because this person doesn't respect you. So they're not going to tell you if they're laying down with multiple people, if they got something. They're not going to, because they do not respect you. And a lot of them siphon your energy through your womb. So you have to protect that, because you're not a tool. That is your temple. You are a temple. So not everybody should have the pleasure to even enter the gates of you, whether that's your heart, your mind, your spirit, your body. Like, none of it should not be easy access to no one. I don't care how horny we get, how lonely we feel, or how lightweight we think sex is, or just how casual it is. No, it's not casual. It's not. Okay. So the signs that this spell has broken with this particular archetype. Hey sis, hey Christina, how are you? The sign that the spell has broken with this archetype is that they're no longer physically attractive to you. Like, even if they are quote unquote your type, or they're conventionally attractive, something about them, you'll just not find them as attractive anymore physically, because you most likely looked at them from a projection of your own light. That, like, you put your own light onto this person that made them look more attractive to you. You might be like, oh, like, they might literally look like something you're just not into anymore. um your kitty cat dries up like a fucking Egyptian desert at the thought of being intimate with this person. Like, just the thought of connecting with them on that level, if you ever have or haven't, it just will completely just turn you off, the thought of it. They may not be as interesting to you. Like, what you thought was so interesting. Oh my God, he's so smart. He's all this and this and that. He's got this. None of, like, there's nothing about them it's attractive to you or appealing, because you see them for them. Like, that glam fell off of them. You don't even see it anymore. Like, there's nothing about this person that appeals to you. You aren't checking for them at all, or as much. Like, you're not interested in what they got going on. You don't care. You're not wondering if they're with somebody else. Like, you don't give a fuck what they do. Maybe everything that they say or do or does, it turns you completely off too. Like, again, going back to, there's nothing about this person that you find appealing anymore, attractive, exciting, interesting anymore. Things that may used to trigger you that they've done or said to you doesn't trigger you as much, if at all. Like, you're not bothered by this person's energy. Like, there's nothing that this person can do that will appeal to you. Okay, so I'm going to get into the prophetic warning in this, if I haven't already, and we'll get into the cards. My next timestamp. I can't see that. Hold on. Is that a 9? Girl, I can't see worth a damn. Hold on. Yeah. 6939. Okay. All right. So this is simply for the men who pretend to love women, but you secretly just seek to use them, weaken them, and drain them. Your charm is not a divinity. Okay. Your seduction is not sacred. There's nothing about that. You've mistaken this access that you have to women as authority over them. Like you have a right to exploit and use women. You confused being desired with being divine. There's nothing divine about that. And I hate when men say, oh, what I bring to the table, I'm 6 foot such and such, and I make this amount of figures, and I have this type of car. Who gives a fuck? I don't care who you shook hands with. I don't care what you got. That does not make you divine, because those are things that can be taken from you. So who gives a fuck? Your body is only yours for a limited time as well. So that doesn't mean anything either. There's other men that are 6 foot, blah, blah, blah. So, and um, you may have projected yourself like a king in this woman's world or women's world, but you're simply like your crown, your titles, your fancy labels and all that, they're counterfeit energies. They're not real. You try to find your light in someone else's divinity, even though these feminine energies are really meant a lot. Because let me talk to the feminine energy real quick. The women, your energy really, like your presence in these people's life really was um a mirror reflection of what they've been doing. And a lot of times a spiritual test, your energy is a spiritual test of what they're going to do with their power, their authority, their gifts. Maybe even, are they going to do well with it, or are they going to use it and exploit women? That's why a lot of like church leaders, they get exposed, or things about them, they start to deteriorate, or things happen to them, is because God may have literally gave them a gift, and they start out humble in the beginning because they really do have anointing on them. I really believe this. I'm not going to say no names, but there's one that's coming to mind, and I'm not going to say his name, but I even resonated with a lot of his words and been inspired by the things. I really feel like he was touched and anointed. But when you get corrupt by money and power and fame, it turns you from your mission. If you're tempted by it and you take the temptation, because when you have a gift, you're always going to be tested and tried by demonic things, people, agents, sent to destroy you, to take you off path. And if you're weak to that, your flesh is weak, you're insecure, and you need to be seen and validated. Small works is not enough for you. A small congregation is not big enough for you, or you're not getting enough streams or likes or views or people showing up to your churches or whatever the organizations or whatever it is that you do. And you say, I want more. And it's tempted and dangled to sell yourself short, sell your soul, sell your morals, your truth, your gift, and you sell your gift to the enemy, you will be exploited and you will be torn and destroyed later and exposed. So these divine feminine energies, women, they are your reckoning. They are your reckoning. Some, the wounded ones, like the wounded archetypes of this, like the ones that are just simply wounded and not, benevolent, you're still redeemable. It's not that you can't turn around. But it's not until you release that lie that your masculinity depends on how many women you can conquer, enchant, control, silence, use, lay down with. Because you don't need a trail of all these broken hearts to prove your worth. And matter of fact, that's just more debt onto you. More debt on you, on your back. So it's not until you lay down your performance and you actually tap into your soul and you take accountability for what you've done, you will continue hurting the very people that are sent to help you heal. That's another thing, because women naturally, in different ways, we all have some type of ability of healing in us. We may not be all meant to be mothers, or um, we may not all be able to cook and do all those things that they say are traditionally feminine, but we all have something about us that helps heal people. Your mother's very voice lives in the women that you're sent, maybe sent to love, or that are sent to love you. But because y'all don't know how to stop trying to dominate them, just because you never learned how to deal with your emotions. You never know what it felt like to be soft and be safe in that as a man. You know, real healing starts when you cry, when you break down and you really cry. That's how you know you're healing and releasing something. To the warlocks, you know exactly what you be doing. You know exactly what you do. You know you be charming. You be trying to take from the high priestesses, you stalk them, you take from the empaths, you seduce all the healers with their own languages and their own light. And then you feed off of it like it's some buffet for you to feed your broken ego. Like I said, that garbage disposal. You just dispose of whatever you take in. There's nothing, there's no use for it. It's just waste. You take something and you just destroy it and suck it up and suck it dry and just destroy others with that. You're not a lover. You're an infiltrator. Some of y'all probably is descendants of motherfuckers that came and tore them temples of the Sibyls down and tried to erase the female pharaohs out of history. Like, y'all probably one of them. You don't want to give women credit for anything and how they've helped and how they built, because of your own jealousy and or your own inferiority. You hate. Have y'all ever known? I just real quick, because this is coming to me. Have you ever noticed that the more nice you are to a man and sweet you are to them, the more they use you, the more they can't stand that, and the more bitchier you are, the more mean you are, the more manipulative, the more that they actually chase after you and like you. It's like this twisted energy, is wounded energy. Some of it does start with their mothers or feminine energies in their family, where they might have seen softness as a weakness. If they've seen their parents get abused, their mothers be abused and exploited, or they had a very harsh mother, very tough, very mean, very manipulative. And they find that to be like, that's how you should be. Or it's safer to be with a woman that treats you like shit, because you don't have to be vulnerable with her. Even if you know she's in the wrong, even if you know it's toxic, y'all both toxic. You don't have to be real with each other. But to have someone that's soft, it makes you feel like you don't deserve it. It makes you feel like that person is weak. Why be nice? Why are you playing nice? Nice people get hurt. You're weak, right? That's woundedness. So some of you warlock demonic energies, you're sent by legions of demons to destroy women who birth things out of them, not just babies, but ideas, inventions, things that are going to help shift things. And y'all don't want to take their word for it because, oh, it's just a woman. They're not worthy of listening to. But those that see y'all, we see you now. The veil is lifted. Women are not under the illusion of that spell, that patriarchal spell anymore. And the women that you once disarmed with your flattery, we're covered in protection and prophecy and power, like we always were. Sometimes it just takes being broken open to see your power. So whatever poison that you sucked into us, we spit that poison out. We unbind ourselves of your illusions, your word curses, your spells. We name your false light for what it is. It's a trap disguised as love and reverence for the feminine when in fact it's not. It's not. Your reign is done. It's done. It's ended. It's done. It's been being dismantled. That's been happening. And it's going to continue to happen. And so to the women, to the divine feminine, these men that came to steal, kill, and destroy, to mimic God, to mimic you by wearing your reflection, um, God doesn't send in confusion. So anytime somebody comes to you cloaked as something, but something's just off, it doesn't match, it's not a representation of what comes out of their mouth, God didn't send that person to you. That's not a divine sent person. God doesn't drain you of your energy. Love, true love, does not drain you of your energy. It doesn't come love bombing you, ghosting you, gaslighting you. It does not strip you for them to feel strong. A real divine masculine presence protects, honors, and leads with humility. So to end this, while we get into the reading, the time of these counterfeit kings, like I said, it's done. It's done. Okay. The women were returning to the garden, okay, where they try to demonize that, the serpent, and say it was the devil because it opened the eyes of that woman to see, bitch, what you doing? What you doing here? Y'all don't see your sovereignty. And they twist that, they take that very story now to blame and shame women to this very day. Oh, we're not in the Garden of Eden because Eve ate that apple and she listened to that serpent. She listened to that Naga. She listened to that prophetess. Or the prophetess within herself, where her eyes were open to see. So the next time you try to enter a temple, know this: we do not worship any false gods. We don't worship any false gods. And what I mean by that, people that proclaim to be in divinity or divine, but they don't walk in that. It's false. They worship things of this world. They want to be like this world. That's not a divine masculine. Okay. So your aura is a God's gift. Okay. High priestesses, whatever you want to call yourself, divine feminine, women, whatever. A self-loved woman is no longer flattered. It's closed off to the counterfeits. It's done. Okay. All right. So let's get into this reading now, shall we? I hope y'all that hit something for somebody. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I appreciate the likes. Continue to like the video. Share it with someone you feel like may need to hear this message. But yeah, I feel like that needed to be said, child. Anytime spirit drops something on me that clear, that precise, I have to share, because it doesn't do me no good to just sit with that. But I forgot my testimony with this. I kind of shared a little bit. Whether I've dealt with them emotionally, romantically, or just encountered some of these type of warlock spirits, these men that try to take women's energies and powers. There was someone that I was romantically involved with years ago. This is before I even started my channel, before I even tapped and used my gifts. This was way before that. This is when I was heavily insecure, very dependent in a toxic relationship. This person, and I had this revelation the other day with talking to someone, and I was like, don't you find it kind of funny that every person that has been around, or just certain people that have been around them, women, they're all women that have been around this particular guy, this man, they all end up going crazy, literally going crazy. And I can't give too much detail because I don't know who watches, and like, but this is my truth. This is my story. So it is what it is. But I'm going to be respectful, even though I shouldn't be like, fuck that, because you know what I mean? Calling things as they are, it's like, why spare that? But I find it funny that at a time, there was a time where I was so depressed and like just miserable being with this person, and they would do and say things that they knew triggered me, would hurt my feelings, would make me insecure, like complimenting other women in front of me, talking about how, and when you're not being fed by your lover, you're not being affirmed in a loving way, like You don't feel loved by them through their actions nor their words. They're not calling you beautiful. One time this person even said in front of me, we were watching some award show or something was it was a singer singing on the TV, and he was like, "Oh, she's so beautiful. Just her energy. She's so beautiful." And I asked him, I said, "You don't think I'm beautiful?" And that's because I sought so much validation from him. And even just saying that was kind of cringy to ask that. But it's like, you could say this about another woman, but I don't hear that type of energy from you. I don't get that from you. So I asked him, he said, "No, you're not beautiful. There's nothing beautiful about you. You're not a good person." That's what he said to me. And that hurt my feelings so bad because, granted, at that time, we did not have a good relationship. So we were not loyal or faithful to each other. So if that's where he was going with that, but to say I'm not a good person or a nice person was a projection, and that really hurt my feelings. So he would do things like that constantly. And one time I really just broke and snapped to where I cut all my hair off, or not all of it, but like almost half of my hair off, because I couldn't take it anymore. Like, I just broke. I couldn't. And after that, like, I just started to see, like, this is a miserable relationship and I can't do it. And after that, um, he was in another relationship after that, and that person went fucking crazy to where she's just no good to anybody anymore. Like, she's just gone, child. She's gone. And I had to say to myself, like, something is up with that. That's a spirit. Like, something that you're sucking something, like, to put someone in a spiritual psychosis almost, or a mental psychosis to the degree. And I'm grateful that I didn't lose myself, that I just had a breaking moment to where I just snapped, but not from a place where I lost my mind completely, where this other person, she's messed up. And another person in her life that's connected to this person, she's just completely gone. And I don't feel like it's all because of this man. I feel like it's definitely the environment and things, around the situation and the people that also are around them that play into this. But I just was like, this is demonic. Like, there's something about this energy of this person. Like, it's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really put a name to what it is, but I just know that that is someone that is in women's life that destroys them, that takes from them, that sucks the life out of them. And I remember saying to myself, like, I never really wanted to be with that person. Like, when I never had an interest in them. And then I found myself, and this is where um I opened the door to this. I cracked the door open to this. I wanted to be with another guy at the time. And because we were so young, this guy was not trying to be in a relationship. And so, me just wanting somebody, because this guy was pursuing me, even though I looked at him and I said, he looks fucking mean. Like, something about him he looks mean. He doesn't look like a nice guy at all. But because we started connecting, talking, and he was showing so-called consistency, I let that person in. And then I started to notice the verbal and emotional abuse off top very early, of just dating and just talking to him. Didn't pay attention, just kept going, even though I knew, even as young as I was, that I knew something was off. I didn't have the level of self-esteem that I should have had at that time, or at least what I felt I should have had, the level of discernment or that I should have had at that time, you know. Um there's a lot of that. I've had people that have tried to enter my life with that spiritual warlock energy, and, oh, we're twin flames, we're soulmates and stuff like that. And it's just like, what the fuck is you talking, like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff that you're just like, No. Mm-mm. And if you're flattered by that, and if you're desperate, you'll go for it. You'll go for it. So, nah. I mean, I got stories for days, like, about, those, it happens. it happens all the time with women. I feel like you'll have people that are always going to be drawn or interested in you, and some of them they're not bad people, but they're just not good for you. And then there's those that know that they don't have anything good to offer, bring into your life, and they want to take from your light. They want to gatekeep it and control it. The low key, even a little bit of jealousy too. It's like you can't be sovereign. You can't be confident in yourself. You can't be free in your divine femininity with a man that's wounded and broken and is insecure or is devilish. I keep moving this the wrong way. Let me see. This part, hold on. Yeah, okay. So let's get into the reading. 90:33. Okay, so I think that's 1:30 and 33 seconds. 1 hour and 33 seconds. I think so, if I'm calculating this right. All right, I'm gonna use the Sibyl's Oracle real quick just to kind of see, like, what do you guys need to know about this energy? Detachment, that's good. Defense, that's good. Good card so far. Okay. Let's see what else. Rage. Okay. And accumulation. Okay, this is loud and clear. Okay. So the detachment and the defense card is that I feel like you know that your energy is protected in the sense, highly discerning, is that your emotional, like, it's no attachments to a thing, not seeking to attach yourself to something, and there is a protection, like a defensiveness, but not like a toxic defensiveness, like a closed offness, a closeness. It's not that. It's a spiritual protectedness. And I feel like if something or somebody bypasses this, it's going to come out in a holy rage. And it might be in a form of like cussing somebody out, telling them the truth of what it is, like without mincing your words, being very blunt, very honest or straight up. Like, you know what? I see what you're doing. I'm not interested. You can't project onto me. Like, I see you. And it's because this has been accumulated, because I feel like you've held certain things in. You haven't spoke on this, you haven't spoke up, and it could even be during this season, this lion's gate, because that's a lion with wings and multiple heads, and it has a serpent tail. This is an interesting creature. I think this is that cherub that they talk about in the Bible that had the four heads, and then there's a serpent tail. So it's very prophetic in a sense of, we're in the Lion's Gate. We're in Mercury retrograde under Leo, and we're in Leo season. And also, we're in the year of the snake right now, the Chinese zodiac of the snake. So, any woman has a right to defend herself, and not in a way of throwing hands, but words. Your words are very powerful. And like I said in the beginning of the live, like, you're not to retaliate um, in a manner like this is through boundaries. This is through boundaries. And it could even be a protection and defense around the fruits of the spirit. You know how in the Holy Bible they have the fruits of the spirit listed. If someone is not carrying the fruits of the spirit, I feel like this is where you're also very defensive and protective of the fruits of your spirit, or your spiritual and physical labors, the person that you've become, the work that you've done on yourself. You're not going to just allow people to take that from you. You can't just come and just eat of this fruit if you don't have any reverence for it, any respect of this. You're not going to take from my garden. You did not invest and you're not investing. You're a infiltrator. That's the word that I'm getting from this. If any man takes offense to this, it's because you carry that energy and you need healing. And for some of you, it's a little worse case for you, because if you're doing it purposely, it's coming back to you. I don't care how people try to make it seem all spiritual and, oh, the laws of this and all these fancy stuff, like all these like word tricks and shit like that. Like that shit doesn't work on everybody. It's like you're just trying to talk in circles and that shit doesn't work. Um, let's see. What type of energy do you guys need to watch out for when it comes to this? Yeah, this energy is very fiery. I'm getting like Leo and Aries energy. See? These educators, civil servants, criminals, repairmen. So these could be people that are like officials or work in the government, or they could be people that have been, they're criminals of some sort, went to jail. Repairman, maybe literally, but it could be somebody that comes in and says, I'm here to restore you. I'm here to repair. Teacher energy. Detective. But yeah, and this is that energy again of people that spy, that stalk, that watch, that study, that mimic. Learner. Architect, stranger. Okay. So it could be literal that this person is an architect, or this is someone that comes up with plans. They study, they take note of things. With the learner card, this person could be inquisitive about you. They could be a stranger, someone that you don't know, or they might know you through someone else, or it's like maybe social media friends or something like that, or social networking, dating sites. But you'll know that this person, it's all in, I feel like it's all in the energy and the vibes, because you can meet anybody that has, a profession as a repairman or an architect, a civil servant, or someone that's an educator or has been to jail. But there's something about this person's energy that I feel like you're going to sense something is off about them, especially if it's someone you don't know, or someone that may come to you as interest. Like, it's not easy for everybody to be, tricked into things with people, with strangers nowadays. Like, some women still, need to be careful out here with these dating sites and stuff like that. Um, simply because I feel like these types of masculine energies that are out here in the world, they don't respect women. And if you just like taking dating so casually, like, oh, he fine, oh, he buying me some dinner, he taking me to such and such, like, you can't treat dating casually either. It's like you got to be a little bit more careful even in that arena, in that world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't be so loose with it. All right, I'm going to keep pulling. What occurred August 1st? Okay. I'll check it out when I get off of this. Okay, let's see. Spirit, what do you want the divine feminine to know? All right. I declare, I decree, evil eye, bad juju, the keys to the kingdom, spiritual authority, incoming call, and text. Yeah, I feel like some of you guys are going to need to say something in a form of like it's formality, but it's final energy too. Like there's a a final word that's like it's a nail in the coffin, it's done. Okay. And it could be that you see something for what it is, something that is deceptive, something that might have worked on you in the past. This is you taking your power back, your authority back. Okay. And then you have the incoming call and text. So yeah, this could be like a message that's going to come to you, and it's going to be not a test in a bad way, but just like a opportunity for you to end something. And I keep picking this message up in the readings, and it could be due to the effects of the Mercury retrograde, maybe, or whenever you see this, it's like it's just a divine time for you, like to dead something that's been ongoing. You're no longer charmed by it, you're no longer manipulated by it, you know. Yep, divine divine justice at the bottom of the deck, false prophecy too. So whatever it was, I feel like a truth, like you see the truth of something. It could be that you were dealing with somebody that you thought was your person, who you thought was a divine counterpart, a divine masculine. This person could have lied to you, said that they saw you two being together, that you were their person, something like that. You get the final last word. And not a last word is like a tit for tat and ego arguments and things like that. But this counterfeit energy, you take your power back. This is divine justice. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like this is not about you going to war with some counterfeit and like trying to prove it. This is not a gender war. This is calling spirits out for what they are. And I feel like once you do that, you set yourself free of something. You're no longer in an illusion. Yeah. Because this energy right here, whoever this is for, or whatever you've been dealing with, that is not a divine masculine energy. They're false. They're a counterfeit. Okay, before I get into these cards, I'm going to pull from this tarot deck. Okay. Of course, cards going to fly. The King of Pentacles. These are in Spanish, by the way. I'm using the Santa Muerte Tarot. The World. So this is the end of a cycle, okay? Energies that just, they're all talk. I got this, I got that. Like, again, a true, like a real man, I should say, we're not gonna, we don't want to stick to all these little spiritual terms or whatever. A real man or divine masculine, whatever you want to call it, they don't lead with their materials as their worth or their value or to entice. They know that their character, their integrity, that is what leads. That is what carries them. That is where their worth and their value comes from, right? So the end of the pretentious energies. Then you got the sun. Yeah, this is a time of revelation. I feel not just revelation of a person or seeing these types of archetypes for what they were and are, but also what it is that you desire for yourself, or maybe even what you deserve, or even what's coming. And then you got the Page of Wands. So this is like you, maybe in your curiosity of what lies ahead for you. I want to say be careful with that curiosity. Yeah. And then you got the Lovers. Be careful with that curiosity when it comes to love or being too open, because when you get back out there, if you're single or you're currently actively dating, you have to use your discernment. And you got the 10 of Pentacles. You have too much to lose. Too much to lose in a lot of ways, not just one way. Okay, so you have, let's see, divine. All right, let's see. All right, you got the Knight of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles. The reason why you were targeted may not be one specific person that you were targeted by, but if you've dealt with this type of energy in just different forms and aspects, the reason why you were targeted is because it's some sort of potential of something that you had or had at the time that now is much more abundant. So someone was looking at one thing that you possess or something that you were building upon with the Ace of Pentacles, but now it's the 10 of Pentacles. This is some sort of prophecy. This is some sort of something that was already meant to happen or be, and this person or people, they couldn't stand a chance anyway, even if they tried to take that from you. Pentacles does not have to be money. Could be gifts, blessings, opportunities, wellness, health, happiness, joy, peace, respect, self-love, like all of that. Okay. Divine Spirit, thank you. Okay. And you have the Death card with La Centro Morte. So, and then you have the Altar, which is the Chariot. Yeah, you built and accumulated something for yourself. This is the end. This is a period. Kind of looks like the World card a little bit too, like the imagery, like the time. There's a karmic justice. You see they got the hourglass, and it also has the scales here, the scales of justice, and then the hourglass is also in the world. This is a divine time message for sure. Like this is either literally like a now message, or when you do see it, this is telling you that you're in a sensitive time right now. Like this chapter, this cycle is done. And Spirit wants you to take very care of who you are, who you become, where you're headed and where you're going, and you don't have time to waste and play with. You don't. Because I feel back in the day, if you didn't know any better, you didn't know what your worth or your value was at the time, or you just thought it was all about just wanting a person, it's like, you know, not to play with yourself ever again or allow anybody to do that. So you take your path seriously. You take your dating experiences seriously. You take your business partnership seriously, who you become friends with. Like you're not playing that game. The moon. So you have the sun and the moon, even though they're in two different decks, the sun here and the moon here, 7 of Wands. Whatever was secret, whatever was hidden in the shadows, the truth is being exposed. Spirit doesn't want you to doubt yourself. Like, yeah, you've been deceived before. You might have been in an illusion before in the past or about love, but you're not there anymore. Okay. Somebody that has a strong will, that is protective of your energy, someone that is not going to, it's like the very opposite of what you dealt with. Somebody that rather than being protective of you, they were possessive over you. They were controlling over you. Rather than somebody that was strong-willed in an integrity sense, they were forceful, pushy, overly assertive, resisting. Not someone that takes accountability or takes a stand. Okay. So let's see. The Knight of Cups. Romantic proposal, invitations, offers, chivalry, charming lover, passionate commitment. So let me see. Two of Pentacles. It's going to take some time for you to trust the discernment of who's truly in it for the right reasons. When offers come to you, is this someone that's charming me, or is this someone that is genuine? It's going to take a little bit of time for you to feel that, and Spirit saying to honor yourself. Okay, honor yourself. Ooh, you got the garden, you got the or the clovers, my bad, it's clovers, and you have the birds. So Santa Muerte's, one of her totems is an owl. So that could be specific for some of you. This owl can represent a watchful eye or protector. Could also represent hidden knowledge, hidden wisdom. There's things still being revealed to you. Spirit doesn't want you to not be social. It's not to say you shouldn't go out, shouldn't date or anything like that, but it's like, know your limits, know your boundaries. Okay. This is more of a discerning approach to dating and relationships. For some of you, you may conclude, I'm not ready to date, or I'm no longer dating in this dating pool, or I want to get to know someone with the purpose of being in a relationship. So if I'm not meeting people on that same page, or we're just not vibing, I respect it, I honor it. But there's some sort of blessing though with the clover, some sort of luck and social energy. But again, you have to pay attention and use your wisdom though. Use your intuition. Okay. Um, let's see. What does your ancestors want you to know? Your divine team, your guardians, your high divine council wants you to know about whoever these charmers were, maybe what they tried to take from you. What do they want you to know or want you to remember? Finding inspiration, boundaries, and reconciliation. Yeah, this was about not only finding, and you got blessings at the bottom of the deck. This wasn't only about you finding yourself. In a sense, it's like you coming back home to a part of yourself, you reconciling with a part of yourself. This person may have tried to take your light from you, the light that you were meant to find. Maybe you didn't know it yet, you didn't see it. So this could have been the spark that led you to this. Like, let's say this person was a false twin flame or something, like what people call false twin flames. Um, this person may have tried to misguide you, mislead you. You thought this was your person, you thought it was your one, you thought this was, oh, we twin flames and all this extra stuff. But what ended up happening was it broke you open within yourself. Like, though you may have felt deceived, may have felt like you were under an illusion, it brought you back to a place within yourself where you found the inspiration. Maybe it could have been like, okay, let's put it like this, because I noticed a lot of people that um probably back in, shoot, like probably 2015, 2016, something like that, a lot of people were having like the so-called twin flame phenomenon happening. And Some of them became tarot readers, or they started getting into their purpose because that's what sparked them, whether because it wasn't really about the person, whether that person really ended up being their quote unquote twin flame or their soulmate or their divine partner, whatever. It's neither here nor there. It's what was what was activated within them. Yeah, what was activated within this. Okay. So you might have found something, your light, your purpose, your calling within this situation. Okay. Or one of these situations, you may have found a piece of yourself in every dynamic that you had that may be sent to take from you. So I'm going to pull from one more card. I'm going to pull from the Isis Oracle, and I'm just going to ask any divine feminine protection or reclamation type of message, and then we'll call it a read. Hey sis, how are you? All right, so you have divine names of power. Divine names of power. All right, that is, let me see. I know this is in alphabetical order. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yes, I'm glad you're here, sis. It is Sunday. Sometimes it can be a little hectic, chores and life. All right. So this card, it says, Lady Isis initiates you now into her special mysteries to use of sacred initiations or intonations. The words that you speak are rapidly gaining power. To benefit from this power, rather than be undermined or held back by it, practice thoughtful speech and clear your heart of old unforgiveness, which can poison your words unintentionally. As your heart grows in purity, you'll be able to speak with spiritual authority, and what you speak of will come into being more swiftly and obviously. Isis is initiating you as a master healer in her sacred tradition of divine names of power. Okay. I'm going to skip through some of this. I'm just going to read this part where it tells you what the oracle reminds you of. It says, the oracle remind you that you're invoking the power of speech and words for your strength, protection, and spiritual growth will work effectively for you. Sometimes thinking and saying no is the most powerful word you can say to honor personal choice and create a safe boundary for yourself. Sometimes affirming in thought and speech, I choose to see the divine within this person, place, or situation is another way to cut through drama and use the power of the situation. Is another way, or sorry, a word in thought and spoken expression to create powerful healing. Choose to use your words with wisdom and pure intention, keeping in mind that with more power comes more karmic responsibility, and therefore always surrender to the greater good and unconditional love is a good idea. With this approach, your gift will grow strong and it's effective. Intentional and unintentional will be spiritually clean and helpful as possible. You will become a greater force of love, peace, and power on this planet. This oracle also suggests that you discern the effect upon you of the company you are keeping energetically and physically. Right there, right here. Sometimes the thoughts and words of others, their vibration can enhance you or leave you feeling depleted or drained. So Spirit wants you to forgive what happened and like see it for what it is, right? You can name the spirit, name the spiritual offense, see what has happened to you, but with a it's from more so of a place of freeing yourself and no longer holding on to it. Like you're not in denial, you're not being delusional about what happened, but you see it for what it is and you free yourself and you let it go. You move on. You move on. It doesn't hold the weight that it once did. So I'm going to leave it at that because you guys will be using your voice. This could be to encourage and inspire other women that have been through something similar, or to honor themselves in some kind of way using your light. You know, this isn't about moving sadness. Like, clear as you need to, but some of you guys, like, some people do deserve to be cussed out, and it is what it is, or just told what it is straight up, because some people have never heard the truth. It's like they're used to being coddled, or they're used to people lying to them, or keeping them in illusion, and it might take you to be straight up and be honest, you know. What was that movie? I'm seeing a scene in my head. I think it's Get Rich or Die Trying. Yeah, it was a scene where 50 Cent, I think it was like after he, you know, was bang, 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 and he survived and he was in a coma or whatever, and then he had to go through like physical therapy or whatever. He was recovering, and he was like at a really broken state at that point, and his baby mom, she was saying certain things to him, but it was like she was speaking truth, like almost like telling him what he's like, how he's kind of just allowing himself to deteriorate, basically. And you could tell it broke something open in him because he started to cry. So sometimes, like, people need things to hit them in their heart and their soul to break them open and to free them. And not every person is might fall on deaf ears. And like I said, those that are continuously um, trying to manipulate women, it's going to come back on them. Like, it's not going to work. It might work for some, but it's not going to work for everybody. And it's still going to backfire. That's the whole point of this. Those that are redeemable, that see the error in their ways, or will see the error in their ways, and be big enough, mature enough, wise enough, honest enough to change and shift out of that and be accountable for their actions and truly be remorseful. So a prideful spirit is going to have a hard fall. There's no buying your way out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way of buying your way out of something when you're continuously creating more offense, more energy stacked against you, rather than saying, I repent of that. I'm done with that. I see the error in my ways. You know, like, I've seen different podcasts of men, and I'm sure it takes a lot for a man to be honest and say that I was a player and I was doing X, Y, and Z. And part of it was because I was broken and my upbringing, and I now have shifted out of that, and I'm speaking either to help other women to be discerning of the type of energies like that and calling those things out, and or calling other men to accountability. I respect those type of men, not those that still try to keep up with the bullshit, because again, it's like you can create a legion, an army full of bull, like, but y'all not gonna win that battle though. It's not gonna work. By trying to tip the scale by saying, "Oh, I'll do something here to buy my way out of it." That's not how it works. If you got to take accountability. Just like when you get arrested and you have a bail, yeah, you can buy your way out of jail at that moment, but you still got a court hearing where you will get some sort of sentencing, right? You're going to have a sentencing hearing, right? So you can buy your way out of things for so long, but there's still that divine justice that has to come down, period. I hope that's clear. Because I don't like when people try to play with my intelligence or try to like make a mockery out of what I'm saying. Like, it's not a game. Like, I'm not sitting here just bumping my gums and wasting my time. I could have just sat on this and or shared it with my girlfriends or something and just went on with my life. So um no. All right. So much love to you guys. As always, I hope that this message was helpful. um, may it spark some type of shift and change, or just affirm somebody to stand in their truth. Because, like, we've all been there. We've all probably been played by somebody, whether it's romantically or friends or family members, excuse me, strangers, just people that have taken advantage of your energy before you saw yourself. And you can't be hard on yourself in regards to that. You know what I mean? Like, all you can do is learn from it and move on with your life in peace and in wisdom and in testimony. So much love to you guys as always. Y'all be blessed, be safe out there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, whatever that will be. Peace.